Welcome to another episode of Silence is Golden, the show where we help you start and grow your very own WordPress consulting business. This guy is
Troy Dean.
And I'm Simon Kelly. This month is March, obviously, and it's Profit Month here at WP Elevation. So today we're going to be talking about how you owe it to yourself, your team, and to your clients to be making a profit. How you can cut down on your overheads and increase profit, something that I spent a lot of time doing in the past couple of months, and how you can increasing your profit is not always just about getting more, but how you can spend smart and trim costs. All that and a lot more. Stay with us.
Welcome to another episode of Silence is Golden, and if I'm not mistaken, and the technology is working, and I don't know if it is, we've got about 300 people working behind the scenes here pushing all sorts of buttons, that we might possibly be live on Facebook and YouTube at the same time.
Just mind-blowing.
Now, here's the thing, because I'm not monitoring anything here, comments-wise,
that's good.
Someone's going to need to call me on the phone and tell me whether or not it's working.
Yeah.
So
but
maybe,
that should be on some.
Maybe Monte Cristo, I reckon Monte Cristo might have my phone number. Monte Cristo, if you're watching on Facebook and YouTube, can you call me on the phone and let me know whether or not it's working? Because I have no idea if it's working.
Yeah. There's a live, that's good. That's always good. Yeah.
So Facebook is working. I'm getting lots of thumbs up from Max. YouTube working?
Yeah.
No. Yes? Yeah, oh, stop it. YouTube's working as well. Fantastic.
The old viewer count's not looking too good right now.
No, that's right. Well, no, I think that's because I don't think that will show up. So what Simon's referring to is in front of us here we have this big telly which shows us what's going on the show. And normally it tells us how many viewers are watching. However, because we are using a new tool, get ready, as we're telling you to unsubscribe from all your software and save money so you can make more profit, we're subscribing to more shit.
We can bring the message to you.
Correct. Yeah, we're using a new tool which pushes this live stream out to Facebook and YouTube via the API, right? Not natively. See, we were doing it. Ooh, hello, Jesus, look at that zoom. What the hell happened then? Calm down, put your seatbelts on, ladies and gentlemen. That was a dramatic digital zoom, Max. Oh, look out. Far out.
Animation, I love it. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's like a Flash website. So we're using Restream.io to push stuff out to Facebook and YouTube, which means we're probably not getting the same data back via the API, so we don't know if anyone's watching, which is extremely disconcerting for presenters when you're presenting a live show and you don't know if anyone's watching.
Yeah, if you are watching and paying attention, just give us a like, give us a comment, so we know what's going on, and hopefully we can find out where that is.
What's going on with that digital zoom there, Max?
Awesome.
That is just dramatic. Wow, that is. Is that for the millennials with a short attention span? Is it that we do that?
There we go again. All right, awesome. This show isn't just about how we're having a show. I think there's a little bit more to it.
It's not a show about how to make a show? Of course it is.
Well, I think we should do one up on that, but this is not the one today.
Fair enough.
So we're talking about profit. We're talking about how we can cut costs and we can make it a little bit more profit.
Can I be controversial here?
Of course you can.
You know there is another way to make more profit other than cutting costs. It's called selling more shit, which is my preferred way of making profit. For me, it comes down to you're either an abundant thinker or a scarcity thinker.
Yep.
If you're a scarcity thinker, you like to cut costs. Now, look, cutting costs is smart, right? But if you're just focusing on cutting costs, then you're a scarcity thinker.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're thinking less, loss, never, right? Whereas you should be thinking growth, more abundance, opportunity, which is selling more shit. So the point is, Monte Cristo says, not watching, but thanks for the shout out. Well, hang on. If you're not watching, how do you know that I gave you a shout out? You lazy son of a bitch. I know where you're at a hot tub somewhere, aren't you, drinking vodka? Hey, that's why you're not.
No, he's in Adelaide now. Well, he might be in a hot tub in Adelaide.
Still in a hot tub drinking vodka. So, if you're cutting costs, I just want to throw this
go for it.
Little curveball out there. If you're cutting costs in order to increase profit, that's fine, but also sell more shit, because that will increase your profit as well.
So you need to combine these strategies, basically. If you're running a lean operation, delivering websites at a significant profit, then you can sell more of these, and that's going to be double-edged sword that's going to work in your favor.
Yeah.
Have you ever created a website for someone to to make no profit at all? Have you ever done that?
100%.
In the old client services
One of
game?
my first websites I built was an e-commerce website.
Yeah.
That
one of the first. That's a big one to
This is
to
before
bite off.
WooCommerce, by the way.
Yeah, nice.
I was using I won't name it, but I was using a very crap e-commerce plugin for WordPress before WooCommerce was a thing. Before WooCommerce basically hijacked Jigo Shop and forked that. There was another e-commerce plugin that was a bit shit that I could never get to work. And so what we ended up doing is I aborted that mission and I ended up building an e-commerce website on Magento.
Oh, nice. Just
not
2 days to launch, just learn how to do it.
Not nice at all. Ended up, I charged $6,500 for this e-commerce website and I had to pay a bloke in New Zealand about $10,000 to build it for me. Not kidding.
Yeah, it's never good when it works out like that.
Fucking awful. It was
Why is it that we decide
disaster.
that we're the ones that need to suffer from this? Because we said yes and we are obliged to deliver and not have the difficult conversation saying, hey, I thought I could do it for this, but turns out it's actually a little bit more complicated.
That's right.
And you need to increase the budget to make this happen.
Yeah.
Or you need to abort and we can, part ways as friends.
That's right.
It's too difficult to have. It's like you need to save face.
In fact, the conversation that I should have had was, this is just a really bad idea for everyone and I don't think you should do it.
Yeah, definitely. I've actually built a couple of e-com sites where someone had a fantastic idea and they thought, you know what, I want you to help build this and you're going to help me build my entire business. Please create this e-com site for me. We're going to sell these products. It's amazing. Really bought me into the idea and the business completely failed. So it's not really a good portfolio item.
Here we go. Thank you, Roby Lawrence. Sorry, just to hijack you here. Roby Lawrence said the YouTube stream is unlisted. Oh, Max! Fuck, got to make that part of the checklist. The YouTube stream is unlisted, so I didn't get a notification. Only found it via the link above. God damn it!
Nice one, Roby. Has he got a fantastic middle name again? Because he always. Oh no, that's only when he's on Zoom.
Roby J. I'm not sure. Bernard Sweeting says, "Hey guys, Mitch says Facebook is working. Wow, that Zoom is entertaining. Go on, Max, do it again.
Do me. Oh, you bastard.
It feels like I feel like I'm in an episode of Batman. I taught Oscar that the other day, by the way, and he sings it. I go and he goes Batman.
Really?
Yeah.
Far out.
Seriously, I know.
Great.
Kid's a genius.
How making him do stuff? Is it awesome?
It's awesome. Oh, it's favourite pastime. Right. Is there an agenda?
Was there a point?
Is there an agenda somewhere here? Is there an agenda somewhere?
when you weren't able to, did you have a team when you were doing that Magento site?
Yeah, he was in New Zealand and he cost me $10,000. That was the team.
No one else?
No, just me.
Just you, Lone Ranger.
Yep.
Yeah, that's it.
Lone
Outsourcing
Ranger.
and
well,
cash.
I ended up growing an agency called Tonto Digital. Because the idea that we were your digital sidekick, so the Lone Ranger reference. Without Tonto, the Lone Ranger was more lone and less ranger.
I like it. Was that your little tagline?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know the joke about Lone Ranger and Tonto, and they're camping in the woods. Hey?
It's
not the agenda. It's not the agenda. It's not the agenda, but it's good. It's funny. There's a joke about the Lone Ranger and Tonto camping, and he goes, when you do that, I want to see an animated bam, kapow, beef. The Lone Ranger and Tonto are camping, and they wake up in the middle of the night, and they're laying under the stars, and Tonto says to the Lone Ranger, when you look up at the stars, what do you think? And the Lone Ranger says, well, I'm looking at the stars and the universe, and I'm confronted by the enormity of everything, and how small I feel in the world looking up at the stars. What do you think, Tonto? And he says, I think somebody stole our tent. Hilarious. Right, now you can go back to the agenda now if you like.
Yeah, all right. Going to try to get us back on track. So when we were building the sites for businesses that were basically going nowhere, it was really disheartening for the team, and it was pretty painful, and it was kind of hard to recover. Like, why are we doing this? So we can help businesses that aren't going to succeed kind of fail in the end anyway, which sucks. So we've made a big change in our business to only work with businesses that are already selling something. They're already like making some kind of progress. It's hard to be part of someone's like market validation, and that's just a change we made to help us make a bit more profit. And that worked pretty nicely. So if you are looking to find some ways to be able to increase the profit that you make in your WordPress business, look for some like opportunities that you might not have thought of. We've coached over 3,500 WordPress consultants now, and we've distilled a lot of the knowledge into a webinar that Troy has been so kind to run. So if you're looking to learn more about that, you can check it out at the webinar link, which is wplinks.io/webinar.
There you go. Is anyone watching on YouTube, and is anyone commenting, Ben, on YouTube? No chat going on YouTube. Okay, that's probably because it's an unlisted live stream.
Oh, what?
Rookie mistake.
He's moved to Ben. There's another
Stop
camera.
it! What the hell happened then?
Oh my God.
Ben's on Silence is Golden. There we go. Look at that. Ben on the Ben's waving. Ben's on the
Max,
Ben's on the
sneaky man.
Ben's on the production desk there. Look at
Dude,
that. Another
these-
camera angle, hey? Fancy pants. That was if only Ben had known, he would have combed his hair.
Yeah.
And had a shave.
No,
maybe.
he wouldn't.
No, he wouldn't have actually.
No.
All right. So where were we? Webinar. We've done that bit. Yeah. Is that right? Yeah. Good. Yeah. Okay. So,
is there a little snippet that we've got of the webinar? We can dive right in. Let's see what we got.
Time to dig into the gold nugget.
hey gang, Troy Dean here from WP Elevation, and welcome to this free online training workshop where we're going to help you learn how to grow and scale your WordPress consulting business so that you can start attracting better clients, work on better projects, get paid better fees for the work that you're already doing, get some more recurring revenue into your business, maybe grow a team if that's what you want to do, and turn your passion for building WordPress websites and doing all things digital marketing into a sustainable and profitable business. I think I might grow the goatee back. What do you think?
Sure.
It's a bit rock and roll, isn't it, the goatee?
Yeah, a bit.
When I have a little goatee here, which, by the way, I can't grow a beard, so that's about as good as it gets. But when I do that, I pretend that I'm in Queens of the Stone Age. You know the band? Love that band.
Oh, they're
How
so
good would it be to be in Queens of the Stone Age?
Amazing.
Wouldn't it be
I got
so
to see
good?
them live, and I thought that was incredible.
They're unbelievable.
Yeah,
So
at
that's
Soundwave
why
Festival in
I grow the goatee to pretend I'm in a rock and roll band. And
Does that
aging.
help? Like mentally, you have to
Oh,
look in the
definitely.
mirror to
Yeah,
do
yeah,
that, or
yeah.
you just throughout your day?
No, I just throughout the day.
Oh,
I just,
perfect.
you know, every time I walk outside to get a coffee, thousands of people cheer. You know, in my head, that's what happens.
Yeah.
Now, something that we do need to talk about, which is a controversial topic, is actually the name of this live stream itself, which is you owe it to your clients to make a profit.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Because that sounds a little bit, you know.
Yeah, like
Counterintuitive.
You shouldn't talk to your clients about profit, right? Like, because that's like, oh, that's like taking advantage of
Here's
them,
your new
isn't it?
website. Thanks very much. I hope it all goes well. Gee, we made a good margin on that
That's
project.
right.
Not
Yeah.
really the conversation you have, is it?
No.
So
Why not?
So, well, I don't know.
You know, like, is
That's a
that
good
it?
question.
Why is that such a weird? Why is profit such a dirty word? You want to like keep it away from your clients so you're profitable,
Digital Zoom.
right?
So, well, I can tell you now, anytime someone enrolls in one of our programs, we make a profit. There you go.
Oh my God, you said it live.
Said it live, on air. We make profit in this business.
Yeah, be a bit hard to buy the equipment and have 4 people working on the show simultaneously if you weren't making a profit, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be. Unless you were like funded by a VC firm and profit didn't matter.
Yep.
Like, I don't know, Twitter or...
Eventually, it's going to have to matter at some point.
That's right.
Yeah. So you
So,
do.
so why do you owe it to your clients to make a profit?
It's going to be very hard to continue to deliver services to them if you're not profitable. If you can't reinvest in your business, in your team, in giving them better support and services, then they're going to have to find someone else to work with, basically.
right.
So you need to be profitable so you can keep supporting them, so you can keep helping them. And if they know something about business, they'll understand that that is totally acceptable and they'll welcome that. That needs to happen because they need that in their business as well.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you did actually. We caught up with Johnny Flash at
we did.
MavCon a couple
Johnny
of
Flash.
weeks ago. The man with incredible hair.
He's one of my favourite human beings, Johnny Flash.
Yeah, who has
Apart from
recently
you, of
joined.
course,
Yeah,
mate.
of course. You said one of, so I
Yeah.
assumed I'm part of that group.
Yeah.
Who's one of our. You assume too much. Who's one of our Mavericks who came along to MavCon Santa Monica, which was absolutely incredible. It was so awesome to catch up with Johnny. I actually wasn't part of this conversation, so I'm very interested to know what Johnny had to say. So let's roll a little clip and hear what Johnny has to say about revenue in his business.
So within the first year of being in the program, I made more on my business running it full time than I had at my day job and doing web design part-time on the side. I made more in the first year. So it's like kind of like no looking back, right? So having processes in place has really allowed me to kind of streamline my process, and I think it makes my clients feel like they're in safe hands. They know that they can trust me. They know what's going to happen next. They're not wondering, hey, when is this going to happen or whatever. It's all spelled out. They've got the big timeline poster printed on the wall in their office, and they know what's going to happen, and then we just deliver deliver and knock it out of the park. The dumbest thing that I did was that I quit my day job and I had no recurring revenue. I had a few clients, but I didn't have any like structure to get money from them every month. And so in hindsight, I would do that a little bit differently, but at the same time, I've been able to grow my recurring revenue from 0 to over $10,000 a month, you know, in recurring revenue. So now the bills are paid and like life is, you know, not so bumpy. I saw a webinar that WP Elevation put on about reviews. It was a guy named Phil Singleton out of Kansas City, and he was basically talking about how Google reviews were so important. And I was so inspired by this that I was like, checked our Google reviews and we had 0. And so I was like, we've got to do something about this. And so we set a goal to get to 50 in 3 months. And so we didn't quite hit it. We got 46 reviews in 3 months, but then we kept working at it. So I think we're up to about 60 now. And we have more reviews than anybody. I'm in DC area. We have more reviews than anyone in DC, Maryland, or Virginia for web agencies on Google. So now we pop up above big names like WP Buffs and other places that, like, they're great companies and stuff, and they probably have a lot more people working, but we're the best reviewed on Google. So hopefully he won't find that out. Don't tell Joe. Yeah, so now, I mean, with those reviews, we're now getting people calling us saying like, hey, I found you on Google. You're the best rated web designer around. Like, we want to work with you, we want to talk with you, whatever. So it immediately positions me in a lot better place. I have the processes, the team in place, and so it just, everything, it's just it's like a well-oiled machine that I'm just trying to, you know, pour the gas on to make it go faster.
We had a fantastic time. Look at that big head. Just filling the screen there.
Yeah.
We had a fantastic time out in Santa Monica, one of the most beautiful parts of the cosmos, Santa Monica. Although it was the coldest week in 100 years in California, apparently, while we were there. Yeah. And it rained, which I'm not used to. So the palm tree was dripping off the palm trees, which was a little bit sad. But anyway, it was a beautiful week. We had a great time out there. We were out there, of course, for Mavericks Club, our mastermind event. We spent 3 days with our Mavericks, and the Saturday we had a public event where a whole bunch of people came along. We had Chris Lemmer and Adam Prizer and Dan and Molstaff came out to speak about their experiences and their successes, and it was a great week. And in fact, when we came back, Max, our in-house visual storyteller, came with us, and he shot a whole bunch of stuff, and he put together a bit of a montage of the event, which we're going to show you right now. So much fun. That final shot, there was a bunch of our Mavericks who came out there and spent 3 days with us. And one of the things that we were talking with our Mavericks about was growing a team. And one of the things we were talking about also was having an hourly rate versus project fee versus value-based pricing. And one of the points that I made during the week was that you have to know, even though you don't, I don't think you should charge clients an hourly rate, because that's just, so here's the thing. An hourly rate is an arbitrary figure that two people agree on when they can't agree on the value being transacted or transferred in the deal, right? So if you can't agree on the value, they go, oh, well, how much is it per hour? And that's just that's the lowest common denominator conversation to have. And they will never understand why your hourly rate is $150 an hour. They're just like, well, why am I paying you $150 an hour? Yeah. What they fail to realise, and what you don't factor in, is that you've got to pay electricity, you've got to pay rent, you've got to pay your staff, you've got to pay, you know, contribute to the 401ks or superannuation or whatever it is, you've got to pay work cover insurance, you've got to pay software fees, you've got to pay all this stuff that's got to be factored into your hourly rate. So you need to know what it costs you to run the business every day. You need to know that when I go to work and I turn the lights on and I sit in front of the computer, I'm incurring costs for the business, including your fee as a business owner. And one of the best ways to figure out how much it costs you to run the business is to get everyone who works in your organisation to track their time for a month, and then look at those reports and work out, okay, how much time does Ben spend playing solitaire, and how do we bill that off to clients? And how much time does Max spend? That was fantastic. How much time does Max spend researching new cameras? Actually, the truth is, how much time does Troy spend researching new cameras, and how much time does Max spend convincing Troy not to buy new equipment? That's right. And how do we build that onto clients? And one of the tools that we use, in fact, before we show that, we're going to go to Tool of the Week.
Get ready for Tool of the Week.
The tool, our preferred tool, I think Ben just saw himself on the replay. Now you know why I crack up laughing all the time, dude, because when you see yourself on the replay, it's kind of funny, isn't it?
It is pretty hilarious.
When need to give Ben a microphone at some point. When here we go. Our favourite tool for tracking time is Toggl. Hey, Missy Wolf waves hello. Hello, Missy Wolf.
It's Toggl.
It's Toggl. That's right. Yeah. And I think Simon's got it up on the screen there.
Yes. Not sure if we can switch to it.
Oh, look at that!
There
we can.
go.
Fantastic. That's just gold, isn't it? You want to explain Toggl?
Yeah, Toggl helps you track your time. You put in your projects, you put in the tasks, and you basically track your time. Like, it's not so much about, like, there are lots of different tools you can use to track time. Toggl's nice and easy and fast, which makes it fantastic. What you want to be doing when you track your time is against individual projects, right? So you want to be knowing the actual margins that you've got on each project. So we actually have a spreadsheet that I use in my business, and we work with the Mavericks on this as well, is each project, like knowing what your staff costs are, what your direct costs are, and understanding like what actually goes into this particular project.
What's a direct cost?
Yeah, so a direct cost is what you were talking about before. So these are the things that, like hosting for this particular project, what kind of software was used directly on this project, right? If you used a specific plugin for this, like let's say WooCommerce pre-orders or something, then that's a direct cost for this project, right? But things like electricity and internet, they're not direct costs.
They're indirect costs.
That's right, exactly.
So in the old days when we made physical things, well, not in the old days, I mean, people still do make physical things.
Do they?
Yeah, people still do make physical things. Everything's virtual these days. Everything's a hologram. When you make an iPhone, for example, the direct costs are not called direct costs, they're called cost of goods sold. It's all of the components, of which there's about $240 worth of components that go into an iPhone. They are the cost of goods sold, plus the actual manufacturing costs, labour costs to make the actual phone. They are cost of goods. The costs then of marketing and admin and finance staff and all those other support staff, they're indirect costs because they are just costs of running the business. But the cost of goods sold in the service industry, we call them direct costs, costs that are directly related to doing the project. In other words, if you didn't make that sale and you didn't take on that project, you would not have incurred those costs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So something that's really important is understanding what your costs are. So just give us a Y or an N in the comments. Yes, if you know what your costs are per project, and no or silence if you don't. So just leave us a comment and let us know. There you go.
That is Toggl, Toggl. It is Tool of the Week. Fantastic. Now, we've only got a few minutes left. By the way, high five. This is actually episode 50. Hey. Oh, no look high five? This is episode 50 of Silence is Golden.
Woo! That's awesome. Wow.
That's a half century.
Yeah.
For those of you who are non-cricket fans, get amongst it. And now we're going to pivot into the last segment for the episode, which is we're going to take a few questions from our Facebook communities and we're going to help some people get unstuck.
Let's get unstuck.
By the way, Nick Watts says he's spotting a dress code theme here. It is wear the black shirts. I think he was referring to the fact that Johnny Flash was wearing a black shirt.
Yeah.
And I also am wearing a black shirt in the webinar video. And he says Tonto only had one outfit too. That's right. Well, you know what?
I wonder if it was a black shirt.
It was black. It was definitely black.
Yeah, right.
But you know, what's his name? Steve Jobs. He wore the same thing to work every day because he didn't want to waste any mental bandwidth making that decision.
I heard Barack Obama had a similar thing as well.
There you go.
Yeah.
I get my clothes ready the night before.
Yeah, right. Nice.
Yeah. So when I get up in the morning, I don't have to think about it because I've already thought about it the night before. Right, questions. Natalie Zisman, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Natalie Zisman says, when asking for a client's review feedback, is there a system or tool that I can use that will publish the review on multiple platforms? I would like to publish the review on Facebook, LinkedIn and Google business pages. On all these, I would like it to appear as if it's written from the client's name. Thank you. Well, awesome. Natalie, on your keyboard, on an Apple, or I think they even have them on Microsoft keyboards and Windows-based machines, there's a couple of keys that you can use that will copy and paste into different. That's what I would use. Do you know if there's any other?
No, the copy and paste, formula works well, but it's not going to come from your client.
No.
If you copy and paste, it'll come from you.
That's right.
So the other way is to ask them to do it.
Yeah.
That's one way to do it.
Yeah.
But if you want to get fancy pants, as Ed Dale would say, you can use a tool like grade.us.
Oh, there
and
we go.
it will publish reviews on multiple platforms.
Oh, is that right?
There's a lot more setting it up than just simply using this tool by itself, which is why we interviewed Phil Singleton on the webinar, which was amazing, and that's what Johnny Flash was talking about before. That's one of the main things that he used to grow his business. Was I'm not sure if it was based on this webinar, but it was learnings from it basically.
That's
epic.
Yeah.
So if you are a WP Elevation member, I believe it's webinar number 55. Selling a review funnel with Simon Kelly and Phil Singleton. So if you just search for that within the webinars section, it is full of amazing content, and it teaches you how to set up a review funnel and actually sell those to your clients. So I definitely recommend checking that one out. Natalie Zisman.
There you go. Missy Wolf says, congratulations on the 50. Monty Cristo says, yay, the half century. Anthony DeBailu says, this is a great video. Thank you for your time. And Missy Wolf says, you guys are awesome. Oh, thank you, Missy. So are you. Thanks. Anthony DeBailu also says, is it a free paid tool? And someone says, free trial onto paid plans. Is that great? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah.
Right, there we go.
Yeah. The key is to not buy the tool unless you can make money from it.
Correct.
Right? And that's something that we're talking about in Mavericks.
We have a private Slack channel for our Mavericks, and there was a whole bunch of people in there talking about, wanting to buy this tool and buy that tool. And I asked if it was okay to swear in there, and then I made an assumption that it was. And I said, stop spending money on software unless it makes you money.
Yeah, there is a tendency to just go, I'll just buy that thing and I'll get the platinum version of it and then I'll figure out the rest later.
Oh, seriously, if I see one more lifetime deal on shit sumo, there we go, bring up the goat. Is it a goat, is it a sheep, is it a donkey, who cares? If I see one more lifetime deal on shit sumo going around the internet that no one's going to use, just give AppSumo money and then not use the thing.
Yeah, well, I've done that many times, but I've unsubscribed from all of that stuff.
Just walk into a clothing store and give the girl behind the desk or the bloke behind the desk $50 and walk out.
Yeah,
don't take any clothes with you. Yeah. That's the equivalent of buying a lifetime deal on AppSumo. Oh, that'll be handy one day. What for? What for? Handy for what? Exactly. Handy for making Noah more profit.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's why they do it.
Here's what I learned a long time ago. 97% of the population are employees. 3% are business owners. That means 97% of the population give their money to 3% of the population. So your job is to become the 3% and set up a cash register and put something on offer and just start collecting money from the other 97% because they're giving their money to someone. It may as well be you. Stop giving your money to other people and start collecting it from other people.
Nice. I didn't know that stuff.
There you go.
That's a good one, mate.
100%.
Far out. Next question.
Lee Molam says, does anyone know if there is a plugin for WooCommerce that allows for pre-orders? Newbie question, as it's my first e-commerce site. Many thanks in advance. Now, Lee, I do have a tool for you, which is not only going to solve this problem, but it's also going to help you solve many other problems that are going to arise in the future as you start and grow your business. Because when you're a newbie, you do have lots of questions that come up. And a fabulous tool that's going to help you solve this problem and many other problems in the future. There's a little website out of the Bay Area in the States known as Google.com. Now I'm being a little bit of a smart ass here, but let me tell you something, Lee. If you Google WooCommerce pre-orders, holy shit, you will find a plugin called WooCommerce pre-orders that does exactly what you want it to do. There you go.
Yeah.
Am I being a bit harsh?
No, not at all.
No? Like there's also a website called Let Me Google That for you.
I was going to say.
Which you're lucky I didn't give this one to you, Lee. Let Me Google That for you, which basically shows you how to use Google. Yeah. Not being too much of a smart ass, but yes. If you just Google that question, like I actually literally type in plugin for WooCommerce that allows pre-orders. I literally copied your thing and pasted it into Google, and there it is, WooCommerce pre-orders.
But the good thing about our community is that there are people with experience. So when we ask and we get that kind of like, yeah, just use this one, yeah, it's easy. At least we know other people have tested it and probably failed before. Because when you Google it and you go, oh, do I jump in and buy this thing? I have no, like, there's no reviews on it. Has anyone used it? Is it a painful thing? So I totally understand. I'm coming from the compassionate view here, but I also Googled it and found
I'm coming from the Gordon Ramsay point of view here, which is learn how to use Google, because it'll save you a lot of time in the future.
Use the internet machine, but also ask in the community.
Yeah, but also thank you for asking the question, because here's the thing about, here's actually the real benefit, I think, of asking questions in our community is some other people might have the same question, and if you ask it, then you've helped them.
If you have the courage to ask it, correct. So I actually ran a webinar with Christina Romero, one of our coaches, on WooCommerce, and I highly recommend that you read that, Lee, because we were going to call it 10 things I hate about Woo, but we called it something else. Can't remember what it was. It's in the webinars area, and it's about e-commerce. It's about starting e-commerce right, because it is full of challenges and it can be incredibly painful. So we put together I think it's our top 10 tips about starting and running successful WooCommerce projects, e-commerce projects, I think, actually. So make sure you check that out. It just goes for an hour, and there's some takeaways and I believe worksheets to help you along.
Ben says, classic good cop, bad cop, well caught. Jennifer Franklin says, yes, but does it work? Laugh out loud.
There you go.
Monte Cristo says, nice reframe on the dollars giving and receiving. And Nick Watts says, yes, but don't business owners pay employees? Oh, good catch. Well done, Nick. I'm going to be going over our costs.
With the money they collected, though.
Yep, and that's correct. Byron Brown, not to be confused with Brian Brown. Byron Brown says, nice work, guys, watching from Cook Islands. There we go. Thanks, guys. Top vid, pow, says Nick Watts. Review funnels are awesome, says Mitch Britt. And there we go. Monte Cristo is laughing from the hot tub. Fantastic. We are out of time. We're up to 30 minutes, so we're done. Thank you for tuning in. Remember to check out the full video of the webinar. Just go to wplinks.io/webinar. You can also join our Facebook group at wplinks.io/FB group. If you're not in that Facebook group, you should join. There's about 4,500 people in there who are all building businesses as digital marketing consultants and web designers and the like, similar kind of things. So join that free Facebook group and get a whole bunch of value and questions answered, and share your successes and struggles in there. This is episode 50. My name is Troy Dean.
I'm Simon Kelly.
And remember, until next time, knowledge is power.
And silence is golden.